There's more explosive insiders coming out TPUSA to tell you about hooker vans and Mossad implanted inside TPUSA.
Now, when it was finally my turn to go and talk to them, they approached me and they asked me, hey, what are your views on Israel? And I just told them, I think Israel's a good country. At the time, I thought so, at least. And they told me, okay, well, what do you think about, Mossad and, Israeli forces? And I was like, they're all right, yeah. And they were like, what if we told you we're part of it, Israeli groups and forces? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm like, and you work for Turning Point, right? And they were like, yeah, we do. We've been working for Turning Point for the past 4 or 5 years now.
There's more explosive insiders coming out TPUSA to tell you about hooker vans and Mossad implanted inside TPUSA. So it just gets shadier and shadier. The TPUSA guys, all their shady business dealings. Now we find out that they had Mossad implanted inside TPUSA, according to this whistleblower. Let's listen.
My name is Joshua Peterson. I'm a former representative for Turning Point USA, and I have a story to tell about when I was at training at Turning Point. So the first couple nights went as you would expect. It's pretty long and strenuous work. We were being trained very vigorously, and after the first few days, we were told that we were going to have some group time. And the first thing that I thought about that was, that's going to be awesome. We get a group bond and stuff like that. And I get to hang out with my leader. However, this was not the case. We were going to be going out with our former representatives that had shown up from previous years and had been at training in previous years. And they were going to be the ones that were going to show us around the city. So I get paired up with these two specific people who I cannot name currently, but they take us out. And the first thing that I found very odd about, this Christian conservative company is they rented 2 stripper vans to take us out to the city. No strippers, but it was there were stripper poles inside the vans. Very odd, very unlike, their values, but okay.
Hey, come on, son. There's nothing more deeply spiritual than a stripper van full of hookers. You'll be saying, oh God, all night. Stripper poles, but no strippers? Do they make you earn that money $1 at a time in your G-string? Am I kidding? Come on, here we go.
And then once we got down to the bars in Arizona, they started getting us drunk. The former reps were, and very drunk at that.
Sounds like a Jerry Sandusky operation.
And then they started singling out people, and they would pull them out one by one to go outside and smoke a cigarette. Now, when it was finally my turn to go and talk to them, they approached me and they asked me, hey, what are your views on Israel? And I just told them, I think Israel's a good country. At the time, I thought so, at least. And they told me, okay, well, what do you think about, Mossad and, Israeli forces? And I was like, they're all right, yeah. And they were like, what if we told you we're part of it, Israeli groups and forces? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm like, and you work for Turning Point, right? And they were like, yeah, we do. We've been working for Turning Point for the past 4 or 5 years now. Now, at the time, I did not know if the company knew of this. I did not know if they were infiltrating the company by any means, but they were Israeli agents within Turning Point USA, and I knew that there were more as well. And there was many more of them in Turning Point. And it was a very concerning thing for me and a couple other representatives that we noticed. And we did end up bringing it up to our administration at Turning Point that this was going on. And they said they would take care of it. And sure enough, nothing was done about it. There was absolutely zero retaliation towards those representatives that were a part of Israel. And there was nothing. And that was very disappointing to see, and honestly a huge red flag for a lot of us.
Well, that is so Mossad to lure them in with an empty stripper van and then try to sell them something. Am I right? Come on. Candace Owens reveals that 12 Israeli-linked cell phones were detected at Utah Valley University on the day Charlie Kirk was taken out. The phones were registered in Israel. According to Owens, Kash Patel and the NSA are scrambling to keep the information from reaching the public. Wow, well, I love these whistleblowers. I think this is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
This is great. I thought all our cell phones were Israeli now, though, aren't they? You mean there are still a few that are non-explosive? Is that real? It's the new Babai phone from the Mossad. And you get a pager thrown in. So there it is. That is, again, I can't get over. And there's people keep pretending that asking logical questions is somehow crazy. So they try to frame everything Candace Owens is saying or any questions that people have about this obvious BS story being peddled by the FBI that he got shot with a 30-06 bullet, which would have taken his head clean off. But somehow his spine was so strong, it stopped it. Okay, not real. They lied about the SD cards. They immediately grabbed the SD card. They lied about the drone footage. They lied about that. They lied about Mikey McCoy being covered in blood and then started directing everything. He was hundreds of yards away. He wasn't directing anything. He was still what? So they cannot stop lying. They're lying about everything. And yeah, I can hear you now, Kurt. Kurt is here with this. Kurt, what do you have to say about the Mossad infiltrating TPUSA?
Didn't Al Qaeda, the 9/11 bombers, didn't they go to strip clubs too?
I think the Al Qaeda 9/11 bombers, they also went to strip clubs. Yes, they did.
I wonder if they got that speech. What do you think of Israel? Well, we never attacked them, of course. We're Al Qaeda.
So they just keep doubling down on their lies. They're just lying left and right, and now they get their their paid shills, their influencers on social media to misframe everything, to put up straw men to try to discredit anybody, especially Candace Owens, who's asking logical questions. I've been through this before. I went through it with the Seth Rich investigation. I asked logical questions about the Seth Rich murder because Julian Assange had hinted that Seth Rich was where they got the downloads of the DNC server, which revealed all the shenanigans that Hillary Clinton and the illegality she was doing with the Democratic National Committee. And so it looks like someone killed him because of that. But the official story is that it was a botched robbery where they didn't take his watch, they didn't take his cell phone, and they didn't take his wallet. And so if you ask any questions about that, you're crazy. And now we know that the FBI has lied all along about it. They said they didn't have his laptop. Then they said they had it, but they couldn't get the information from it. Then they said, okay, we could get the information from it, but we can't release it. And then a court ordered them twice, the FBI, to release it, and they still won't release it. 10 years later, a decade later, they won't release it. So I asked logical questions about that, and I was put in a Washington Post hit piece by Dave Weigel saying that I was a conspiracy theorist, along with all these white supremacists and Nazis and pedophiles. That was put into the same Washington Post article. They're doing the same thing with the Charlie Kirk investigation. The same people who covered up the Epstein files and demanded that they be released. Now they're the head of the FBI. Now they say there are no files to be released. Yeah, but Pam Bondi said she had all the files on her desk. Okay, there are files, but there's nothing in the file. Okay, that's great. So those same people are lying to you about the Charlie Kirk investigation, also the Butler investigation. And but there is no Butler investigation. So those same people covering up everything, and the JFK, going back to JFK, RFK.
Not a single one. Not a single one has been correct. Not a single one.
That's right.
Not one thing they ever told you was correct on any of them.
On any of these. But you're again, if you listen to these influencers that are obviously being paid to lie, and to try to discredit anybody asking questions, especially Candace Owens, they don't have any questions. They don't have any questions about. They don't know how did this kid was allowed to get on top of a roof. They're supposed to have security. They're supposed to have drone coverage. They're supposed to
get on roofs.
There was only a couple of roofs there, and they weren't watching them. People in the crowd saw the guy on the roof. Turns out nobody in the security saw it, just like at Butler. Everybody in the crowd saw the guy on the roof, except the people who were supposed to be doing security. Isn't that weird? Same thing happened at the Charlie Kirk assassination. People saw the guy on the roof, except the security people, and of course they didn't have anybody on the roofs. Why wasn't there any security people on the roof?
A highly paid security.
Highly paid security.
The millions of dollar paid security I'm guessing, trained by the Mossad because that's where we get all our security from.
That's right.
As we should. It's a great organization from a great country that really helps us be great. Wait,
So-
really? You pay all that money and you still get it? And Pastor Rob McCoy, hey, people get shot. Hey, shit happens.
Yeah.
That's their explanation.
They're all lying. They're all lying. They've all been caught lying. They lied about the SD cards. They lied about Mikey McCoy. They lied, Rob McCoy. They lied about the drone. The head of security lied about drones. They paved over the crime scene 3 days after it. That's normal, right? You immediately pave over a crime scene.
Yeah. Mhm.
So nothing makes sense. And if you ask questions about things that make obvious no sense, or if you point out where the people closest to Charlie are caught lying time and time and time again,